And you mentioned ramping your salts up, your sodium up to around 15 grams.
Let's go.
Not initially. Like when I'm deep into a cut, like when I'm sub 10%, my craving for salt goes through the roof. So I'll go as high as 15 grams. Generally speaking, about a 2-to-1 ratio of sodium to potassium works pretty well. So I'll start people at like 4,000 milligrams sodium, 2,000 potassium, and then just scale that up based off of how they're feeling. But yeah, when I get lean, man, I crave the sodium.
So what are some of the first things that can happen when somebody starts diving into a ketogenic diet?
Well, if they're coming from a carb-heavy diet, they're going to probably flush out a lot of water, which is going to flush out a lot of sodium, potassium. So increasing their electrolyte consumption at the onset is going to be key, just so that they're feeling good. They don't have any, muscle cramps or headaches or things of that nature. It kind of depends what they're doing. Like if they're trying to do a fat loss phase, I recommend people, actually stick with a maintenance intake of keto for, a few months prior to actually dropping calories, because it takes a while for those metabolic pathways to get put in place so your performance isn't hindered. And you don't want to start a fat loss phase and automatically not be lifting as much, because that's going to bode well for preserving the muscle you've got. So I would recommend staying at that maintenance intake with ketogenic foods for a few months prior to actually going into the fat loss phase.
Okay.
And you mentioned ramping your salts up, your sodium up to around 15 grams.
Let's go.
Not initially. Like when I'm deep into a cut, like when I'm sub 10%, my craving for salt goes through the roof. So I'll go as high as 15 grams. Generally speaking, about a 2-to-1 ratio of sodium to potassium works pretty well. So I'll start people at like 4,000 milligrams sodium, 2,000 potassium, and then just scale that up based off of how they're feeling. But yeah, when I get lean, man, I crave the sodium.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know that between fasting and keto, sometimes you go to work out and because like a lot of times fasting and keto are utilized. So we always have to point this out, because they're utilized for weight loss.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times that's why you're not feeling great, and if you were in a surplus of calories, we probably wouldn't run into half of these problems, because you'd probably end up with a better electrolyte balance just because you ate more food.
Yep.
Food is like a shuttling system of electrolytes and so on, and you put salt on your meat and so on. So I think it's important to point that out. But sometimes when somebody's training, they might feel like they're going to pass out. I've heard people say that they've had, kind of heart palpitations or cramps or a lot of these things. Almost all of these things will subside either with more food or more salt.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like I was competing one year, and the guy I was stepping on stage with couldn't hit the poses. Like he was cramping so bad he actually had to walk off stage, which just sucks. I mean, he puts on all this work, then he can't even compete on show day because he had like done. Suck. I mean, like you know, like all these crazy peak week protocols people go through: dehydration, carb loading, diuretics. Like it's not healthy. It's not optimal. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you got to stay hydrated. You got to keep the electrolytes in check, and you'll feel way better for it.
Mm-hmm. I know you guys don't mess with this stuff, but I guess what are some of the, I'll say, positive negatives of like keto bombs and those sort of things? Because like that gets people excited, right? Like I'm a huge fan of peanut butter cups, and I can probably go on ruled.me and find like a dope like recipe for something that like, shit, I'd eat that without a ketogenic diet, which would then cause a lot of havoc on my stomach and more calories for no reason. But with some of that stuff, where can people run into some problems?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely incorporate it, but like there's a lot of people in the keto space that think it's all about insulin and calories are not, necessary. Like they don't count. That's what a lot of people think, which is just not true. I mean, everything counts, So like if you're eating a bunch of hyper-palatable keto treats and you let your calories get away from you and you're over-consuming, you're not going to really optimize for fat loss. So you got to be careful of, full consumption. But yeah, you can certainly use some of those. Now, a lot of those are just packed full of erythritol, and those are going to cause some GI distress for some. So I try to minimize all the sweeteners. Plus, when you're eating sweet foods, you crave more sweet foods, so you're less satiated in the first place. And if I'm in a deficit, I want to make sure every calorie I'm consuming is as nutriently dense as possible and actually bodes well for my goals,
Yeah, it's taken me to be, nearly 48 years old to like look at a food and just be like, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Like all that food's going to do is trigger me to want to eat more of it. Like it's going to be satisfying in the moment, but if I had I can't eat half a slice of pizza, or I can't have a slice of pizza. Maybe the only way I could have a slice of pizza is if there's only one slice of pizza in the house.
Yeah.
But if there's like more than a couple, then that means if I'm going to eat one, I'm going to eat all. Mm-hmm. And so we have to be very cautious, and I think it's important. I think what I admire about you the most is the fact that, you're unwavering. You know, you've been on this keto train for a long time and you haven't like bounced. You know, you're not like, oh, Paul Saladino's eating fruit, or this guy's only eating meat and I'm going to go this way and I'm going to now, go a different route rather than being keto. You've stayed keto the whole time, and I think that is that's admirable. It's not easy to do that because we just see so much stuff.
Yeah.
On the internet. But I think a really key factor for people is ask yourself, why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you doing the current diet that you're doing? Why did you select this? Why did you choose to do keto? Did you choose to do keto to make up a bunch of keto frankenfoods that are just going to put you over your caloric limit? Being over your caloric limit is by definition the standard American diet, since most people in America continually gain weight every single year. The only way to gain weight is to be in a caloric surplus consistently. So you might switch to keto or you might switch to carnivore, and then you're just doing the same thing again. And so I think people need to be really cautious of this. And we've seen this with paleo. We've seen this with like a gluten-free movement. It's like, oh, I'm eating a gluten-free donut. It's like, well, okay, it's nice that you have that option. It's nice that we have technology today that can make that for us. It's nice that we have these keto Pop-Tarts and these different options for us. But let's not try to like live off these things because it's just going to get us in a caloric surplus.
Yeah, I feel like people that are in, traditional society, they can eat intuitively with keto and they'll see a lot more success necessarily than they would with a standard American diet because it's less hyper palatable. But with all the advent of new keto foods and treats and processed junk, like that becomes more, that water becomes muddy.
And to be fair, even your bricks and even the products that I make, the electrolytes that I make, they don't have any calories, but the protein powders and stuff that I make, I mean, you make one of my protein powders, you take the Total Carnivore Steak Shake, throw some heavy cream in there, and you're over your allotment for calories, and it's going to taste amazing.
Yeah.
Right? But if you do that day in and day out, you're not going to make the progress you're looking for.
Yeah. I mean, I make a keto brick, I make a keto product, and I'm always the first to tell people, like, look, this should not be the staple that you're consuming. Like, eat other whole foods.
I'm not losing weight, Robert. I don't know what's going on.
Eat whole foods and then use that in tandem with it. Like, it's a great option. I eat one every day when I got down to 3.9%. But like you got to make the base of your nutrition come from real wholesome foods for sure.